Doncaster, a town built on coal. It was mined here for a century and a half. This was almost the last place in Britain to close all of its collieries. And having powered the Industrial Revolution, it's now playing a part in another profound change in our society. So, say hello to the future of shopping. These are robots in an Amazon warehouse on the edge of Doncaster. They collect items, move them around and prepare them for distribution. There are no humans in this area. The process is entirely run by machines. This whirling ballet is a sign of the future for our largest retailers. Robots roaming round a giant warehouse to fulfill our orders as quickly as possible. And this won't diminish. You don't uninvent this kind of extraordinary technology. So the question is, how will all this impact our society? Round the corner, another Amazon warehouse, vast and populated by people. It covers 1 million square feet, the size of 15 football pitches. 87% of the UK is within a 4-hour drive of here. It is the perfect place for fulfilling orders made online.
We do have automation in a number of our fulfillment centres. There are still certain types of roles that robotics or automation cannot do. Do I see a future with no humans? I see a future where there is greater interaction between both automation and people.
Amazon's a company valued at nearly $1 trillion, with enough money to build as many warehouses and robots as it wants. So can anyone really compete against all this? In the middle of Doncaster, a very different face to this changing retail world. Ray and Sandra are closing the doors on their carpet shop. There are no robots here, just memories of cash and customers. It's been in the family for 95 years.
We'd either got to make a decision that to leave or stay, and we decided that if we stayed, by the time Christmas came, we'd be owing money. So we decided that now is the time to leave.
This shop wasn't killed by competition from the internet, not directly anyway, but by a drop in the number of people shopping on these streets, coming through these doors, a striking contrast to former decades.
People had money in the hand to spend them days. Nowadays they go to the supermarkets, buy everything under one roof. Shopping's just changed, and I can't see it ever going back to how it were.
For towns like Doncaster, it's a chronic problem. We shop in different ways now. Online, yes, but also in big modern shopping centres, often out of town. In the heart of Doncaster, you're never far from a vacant shop.
The town centre is probably a bit too big here and, fundamentally dominated by the large shopping centre, and therefore you will see more voids and vacant units, sort of particularly spreading out from the epicentre. I have a horrible feeling that there may be worse to come.
That is an unsettling vision, and maybe it reflects an uncomfortable truth. Doncaster's got the same population as Rotherham, which is about 10 miles away. But here they've got twice as many shops, and 1 in 5 of them is standing empty. So does a place like this just have too many shops? Sky News commissioned analysis from the local data company into the state of our high street. It showed that the number of occupied shops in the UK reached a peak of almost 193,000 in the early months of 2018, but that number is now falling. And here's why. While the number of empty shops was on the decline after the financial crisis, it's now rising again. Perhaps not by as much as you'd expect though, and that's because a growing number of shops are being demolished entirely or converted into other uses such as homes or offices. For the shops that are left though, what can they do more than just survive? How do they find a way to thrive? Rachel Whittaker opened her jam and chutney shop just under a year ago. Her plan was to focus intensely on the local market.
Amazon's not going to go away, and it shouldn't go away because it offers people something that they really do need. But if we want to compete with that, we have to say, as you say, it's an experience. You come here and you get something completely different than if you're clicking online. Because I shop online, but I also support local businesses. I would never even dream of, say, buying my meat or my vegetables online because I've got a market on my doorstep.
Maybe that's the key. Town centres have to be about more than just shopping. Perhaps it has to become more, well, fun. This site used to be the Doncaster branch of BHS department store. It's been transformed into a trampolining and activity centre, all in the middle of a shopping mall.
It's a question of looking at, perhaps looking at the opportunity and thinking, you know, what service can I provide, or what goods and services can I provide that Amazon can't?
That name keeps coming up. Amazon isn't the only online giant. In fact, it only accounts for 2% of retail sales in this country. But it has become a byword for online shopping, and also a symbol of how the traditional retail world is being morphed by global companies with opaque tax arrangements.
We pay all of our taxes that we are expected to pay. We follow the rules, and we always will do that. Whether there is a question around a future tax or a change to tax is a question which is best answered by the politicians.
Britain's shopkeepers and their communities do face challenging times. Technology is racing forward. As we've revealed, the high street has reached its peak. It will change and become smaller, but it won't disappear. Like Doncaster itself, retailers will just need to embrace the art of reinvention. Adam Parsons, Sky News, Doncaster.